Hello, everyone. Welcome to another version of the Axel Wrestling Fan. Kaz and I have kind of been going all in on this YouTube thing. Honestly, it's a lot easier to do the video this way because we can put the video straight from our recording right up on YouTube almost immediately, so we can get the episodes out a lot faster than we did when we were doing the audio podcast every week. Not to say that the audio podcast will be discontinued. Some of these video recordings may be turned into audio podcasts. It just depends on how everything works out. But for the most part, big fan of doing these videos.
Meow.
Yeah, there's Kevin, the
I love that
legendary
your
Kevin.
cat's name is Kevin.
Yeah, my girlfriend named him after Kevin from The Office. Originally, she said if she was going to get of course, updates. Remind me tomorrow. The viewers are probably loving this. Fucking Mac updates. I'm sorry, guys. I have never owned a Mac before, so it's just a lot of technical difficulties. So, Kevin, named after Kevin from The Office, and my girlfriend Paige wanted to name all of her pets after him, after the entire accounting team, but we didn't get around to doing that. We got Milo and Maxine. She's a girl. Yeah, I don't know how she got those names. I can't remember exactly how, but Kevin is named after Kevin from The Office.
I wonder why most pets aren't named like actual human names. Like a dog's name is like Star or
Fido,
Fido or
Butch.
like a dog name. That's like a dog name.
Yeah,
Like who invented dog names?
I I don't know. Maybe it's because people didn't want to give dogs a human name because people don't view, or at least back then, didn't view dogs on the level of a human being.
Oh, that's
Unfortunately, some
sad.
people, yeah, I would say some people still don't. Mike Vick. But
Yeah, right there.
it's the hot chocolate and the Kahlua that's getting to me.
Sounds like a good combo.
Oh, it's an amazing combo. It's an amazing combo. But I know a lot of people. I feel like they name their dogs human names now.
Yeah, I guess it is more of a trend nowadays.
Well, I wanted to name my dogs, my hypothetical dogs, before I met my girlfriend. I wanted to name them like puns. So I was gonna name one uh, Bark Henry, the world's strongest pup, after Mark Henry. Then I had a bunch of different like Mark Bark puns, like Bark Wahlberg or Barky Bark, as I was gonna call him. But the one that people liked a lot was Bark Ruffalo, after Mark Ruffalo, who plays the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movies.
That's amazing.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But enough talk about dog names. Let's jump into some wrestling. But before we do, you can check out our Patreon page, patreon.com/podbros. And then, of course, once you get there, there is a TAWF tier to show more levels. We've got our $1 tier for our prime TAWFers. You get a shout out. You can tell us your favorite matches, your top 5. You can do it either as a video recording, audio recording, however you want to do it. Send us a list via email, and you can send that at thebros@podbros.com. Of course, you can do a $2 promo spot. You pick the promo, and one of us will reenact it. Please, God, do this. I want to do this so bad, and no one has taken us up on it yet.
Yeah, that like I said, if someone does pay for that, I'm going to be petrified to do that. We
Well,
we 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 have one in the can, and I wish it could be, brought to everyone's attention.
yeah, like I said, I gotta get a hold of John and have him send me that audio so I can upload that and um, show everyone the style in which we would do some of these promos.
Yeah.
Uh, like taking comedic elements to famous dramatic promos or making comedy promos super melodramatic is what I was going for. But yeah, no one's done it yet. No one's taken us up on it. It's making me sad.
It is sad.
It is. T Public. te.pub/lic/podbros. You can see all of the great designs there. Kapowcast has like 70% of the market share there on our t-shirt store. They've got like 80 t-shirts. There's a couple designed by yours truly. Obviously, you can see that I designed them because they're not as good as some of theirs. Although I did design this one. I think this is pretty good. The 1983 Grand Prix champion.
That is a great shirt. All
Thank
those
you.
shirts are great.
They are. Of course, there's some great shirts that we can curate into our store. They're not designed by us, but these are some shirts that we thought were really cool and wanted to shine a spotlight on some of the designers on TeePublic. And a lot of these shirts tie into some of the shows that are on Pod Bros, like the John Pod Van Dam cast tie-ins with these Are You Man Enough to Fight Me, which I actually own this tank top, which I love. I've been wanting to get this I Survived Kumite 1988 shirt, but I just keep putting it off. Some of these are from my personal store, Downriver Swings First, Young Dolph, and then of course the Fuck Tai Chi shirt.
Yeah. And TeePublic always has a sale going on as well.
Absolutely. You can get, I think if it's your first time, 15% off for your first purchase. So if you've never used TeePublic, I highly suggest you use it. And you can find all kinds of different designs on there. As my light timed out for whatever reason. Let's see here. You can type in New Japan and different. Oh, these are actual Japanese designs. I should probably put pro wrestling. Type in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and there's different shirts that pop up. Let's see here. Let's pick this one. It's actually an All Japan shirt, but you get the gist of what we're talking about. And it's got a old school NWA/AJPW program on it with Stan Hansen, Rick Steamboat, Ric Flair. I think it's Tiger Jeet Singh. So yeah, Giant Baba is there in the corner. Those are the kind of shirts that you can find on TeePublic. So check it out. Oh, there it is. 50% off your first purchase. There it is. I spoke it up.
So, yeah, I love going on TeePublic and just typing in something in the search engine and seeing what comes up.
Yeah, you could find some really cool shirts on there. I think there was a really cool Midnight Express shirt, but Jim Cornette, I think, threatened to sue, and it might have gotten taken down. Let's see if it's still there. It's a threat level Midnight. I might have to put wrestling.
I know Jim Cornette did recently sue that one like deathmatch wrestler because he put a shirt out mocking Jim Cornette. I forget was it G-Raver?
Oh, G-Raver? Let's check this out.
Yeah, Jim Cornette was bashing the dude for some spot he did. I don't know if you've seen it. He was on like a ladder and barbed wire was involved in the spot he did. He fucked up bad. I think he fucking like slit his arm open super bad. Then he went on like a GoFundMe. He made a GoFundMe account asking the fans to help him pay for his medical bills. And Jim Cornette was like, well, you dumb fuck. You're the one that did this spot. What the hell were you even doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know how Jim gets going with his rants.
Yeah, he gets very fired up. And as you can see here from this Forbes article, G-Raver started selling a Fuck Jim Cornette t-shirt. And the design featured a match resembling Cornette gagged and bleeding with tattoo needles sticking out of his head. And then Cornette's lawyer said that a lawsuit would be coming, or suggested that it'd be coming. So,
yeah.
Right.
So that's that.
Yes, sir. Kaz, do you want to introduce this topic for today?
Well, at work today, I was, thinking about something we could talk about on the next episode, which is happening now, and I thought doing an episode on wrestlers who are either overrated, underrated, or exactly where they should be. I figured I'd throw some names out at you and you kind of give me your take on what you think they are, if you would like to play that game.
I am always down to play that game.
And I
I've
guess we'll just keep it strictly with wrestling. Nothing they've done outside of wrestling, whether it be acting or sports, just strictly like wrestling ability, promo ability, championship reigns, blah blah blah.
All right. I'm ready to play this game.
All right, so the first name I'm going to throw at you is Shinsuke Nakamura.
And I have to.
Underrated, overrated, or exactly where he should be?
Uh, wow, this is kind of a hard one because he started off his career as almost, if you're a hardcore New Japan fan 15 years ago, is very overrated because he got pushed really hard. Um, then he was the man for a couple of years, and now he's kind of got the label of being kind of lazy, kind of phoning it in. But he's 40, and
I
he's got
guess
a
I,
bad
I
back.
I guess I picked him first because there's two dynamics here. You have his kind of Japanese run, and now you have his current WWE run.
I guess he's kind of perfectly rated.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't blame a 40-year-old wrestler who's been wrestling for like 17 years with a bad back for kind of mailing it in and collecting a colossal paycheck every year.
yeah. I mean, I'm a huge, Shinsuke mark. I don't think he's underrated. I don't think he's over. I do think he is exactly where he needs to be. I do wish, his WWE run kind of panned out a little differently as to what it is right now. I mean, he did win the Royal Rumble. He did, go on to WrestleMania to wrestle AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, which was a marquee moment in his career. But, other than that, his WWE run has been kind of like a comedy act, sort of.
Well, he was
I don't want to
um
say comedy act, but, his characters is somewhat or pretty serious, but being teamed up with, Sami Zayn and this and that.
yeah, they gave him like this weird
He was always a very charismatic dude.
yeah. He his gimmick now is almost like a very charismatic version of M Bison from Street Fighter with the outfit and like the long jackets and capes and such. I know I jokingly called him Scorpion when he first turned heel, but yeah, he definitely comes across as almost like this anime type
he
character.
he was a heel for most of the part in Japan, correct?
So he was a face for almost that first decade of his career, and then when he came back after he was super jacked up on special vitamins on his excursion to Mexico, he ended up turning heel. You can see right here in his wiki article, he joined up with Black New Japan with Chono. And that's when he turned heel.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he turned heel, but that's really when his charisma started to show, and that's when people really started to really get behind him.
Yeah, I mean, he's an incredible talent. If that man was to ever go back to New Japan, imagine the reaction he would get. He's like a legend over there.
Yeah,
As far as a fan favorite, he might be considered one of the most popular of all time.
in New Japan, yeah, I would say he's
Yeah.
up there. I mean, obviously, you'd have to like go back and think about the names like Muto,
I guess in the
Fujinami.
modern era.
Oh, in this modern era, yeah, it's him, Tanahashi. I would say those are some of the most popular guys, at least in New Japan.
Yeah, so we'll agree that he's about right where he should be.
Yeah, I agree. Right where he should be.
All right. Well, my next name I'm gonna throw at you is Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. Uh, I feel like he is underrated, and I feel like that mega push that he was getting for a couple of years uh, kind of halted how successful I think he could be right now. because I mean he's a great wrestler. I've talked about how his matches almost resemble kind of like the climactic fight in an action movie. They always have that kind of feel to it, almost like a, for lack of a better term, big fight feel. Um, I know I enjoy his work very much. I think as far as his presence and wrestling ability, intensity, all that stuff, I feel like that's always been on point ever since he was just the stoic powerhouse dude from the Shield. I think him getting pushed too much too fast really kind of hurt him because
So you think he's underrated?
yeah, I think he's underrated. I like I said, most of the criticisms against him weren't ever really about his abilities. He can talk, he can wrestle. It's just
Yeah,
WWE always put him in awkward uh, positions that didn't really make him look the best, and that's not his fault, you know. And he did his best. He carried himself as a top guy. He's been like a 3-time WWE champion. Um, he's starting to parlay his uh, his wrestling talent and ability into acting, which I know you said don't bring up the acting side of it, but I feel like as far as a performer goes, I think he's underrated. I feel like people just sometimes overlook his skills just because of how much he was pushed.
yeah. I think the him being pushed down everyone's throat in such a manner that it was kind of just like Jesus Christ, enough already. Um, that kind of it doesn't take away from his ability or anything, but it does kind of take away from his character, I guess.
Yeah, like he almost feels like a non-factor right now.
Yeah, that is strange, especially with SmackDown moving to Fox. He's a big part of the show, but he hasn't been involved in the title picture, which I'm sure is coming up. I would bet all the money I have that it'll be him versus Bray at WrestleMania.
Yeah, yeah, and does it does this basically mean that WWE is going to try to just reboot the initial push that they had for him before?
I think so. I definitely can see them putting the title back on him.
Yeah,
I can even see that's what Fox wants.
yeah. I mean, you can really hype up the fact too that he never lost a Universal title, and he's finally going to work his way back to it. And it's been a little over a year since he's even really had a championship. So I know they're gearing up to push him big time in here in this year, 2020.
Yeah, him winning the Royal Rumble would probably, as far as a fan reaction, be unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they do it, but I'm curious to see how he'll be received by the crowd.
Yeah,
Will the
definitely.
crowd hate him? But I feel like the crowds are starting to kind of like him again because the way they're pushing him right now or utilizing him right now is kind of how they should have been utilizing him back in 2015. I think is when they started his initial push. Instead of having him fight Brock at that WrestleMania 31, I think it was, he should have been winning the Intercontinental Championship. And
I
then,
agree.
but from the sounds of things, did you see that leaked WrestleMania 30 card that CM Punk put on Instagram?
I did, but I don't remember. Um, why? What was it?
Let me see if I can.
I think the main event was supposed to be like just Orton versus Batista.
Yep,
Daniel Bryan was going to versus Sheamus, I think.
yep. CM Punk versus Triple H, Lesnar versus Taker, Cena versus Wyatt, Big Show versus Kane, and then Roman Reigns versus Dean Ambrose for the United States Championship.
Oh wow.
So that would have implied that the Shield would have imploded, which is actually something they were teasing leading up to that. When the Shield were feuding with the Wyatt family, uh, they teased the Shield breaking up. Dean Ambrose would suddenly like disappear in the big brawls, and that cost them matches against the Wyatts. So I feel like, they were going to start that push of Roman winning the U.S. title and then transitioning up the ranks, almost like an Ultimate Warrior style push, which is what they should have done. He should have kind of worked his way up, but I feel like people would have taken to him more. But instead, people knew he was going to be the dude that was pushed out of the Shield. People knew that he was the one that was most likely going to be the biggest star out of the three. So WWE just jumped straight to that part instead of just letting it occur naturally.
Yeah, and I don't want to say WWE panic, but Roman Reigns' push might have been pushed the way it was because Cena was kind of on his way out, and they knew that, and they wanted to create or make, I don't want to say a new Cena, but a new top guy, and Roman Reigns just fit the bill as far as look and everything else.
Yeah, because he would have been one of their guys. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. And they like
Cena.
that.
Yep, Cena's old. We're getting old. Orton, obviously is getting older.
Cena, you're
Batista
old.
wasn't gonna be. Batista wasn't gonna be around for forever. I'm sure he was probably gonna leave to do Guardians of the Galaxy, whether he won or lost that title. If it was just him versus Orton, Bryan was an indie guy. Dean and Seth were indie guys. Roman was a dude that came up through their system. It's like having a quarterback that you draft in the first round and develop them to learn the playbook and study behind an awesome quarterback that's getting old, and then you turn over the playbook to him and let him call the shots. That's kind of like how Roman was being groomed and brought along.
Yeah, I think the push, I don't think it's hurt him. It kind of has, but I mean, I don't think he's underrated or overrated. I think he is where he is.
Okay, yeah, I could see where you're coming from on that.
But I'll move on to the next guy on my list, another Shield member, Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins. I think he's fine where he is as far as his in ring ability. I think he's tremendous. I obviously think that he suffered a little bit this past, I'd say, 6 8 months, 6 through 8 months. I know some people hate when you say 6 8, not 6 7 or 8. Anyway, um, yeah, something happened along the line where he went from being this fantastic babyface, like must see TV, having the best matches. That chase to the Intercontinental Championship was amazing, leading up to him winning the Universal Championship. And then people kind of just stopped giving a shit. Um, I've always thought he was a great talent as far as a wrestler goes. I've been watching him wrestle since like 2005. So I knew he was always something special as far as ability goes. Yeah, I think he's perfectly where it.
Do you think WWE ever had it in mind to make him the guy? It seems like they've been trying to, but do you think that was ever their intention?
Um, no, I don't think he was ever really going to be their guy. I don't think that was ever the point for him. I feel like he was definitely going to be a guy that would be utilized and uh, you know maybe push at the upper mid card. I don't think they ever really originally intended for him to be like a super top guy. I don't think that was always the case. And I know he had attitude problems in developmental where he really saw himself as being the top guy, and it kind of alienated him from other people, other agents like him and Terry Taylor don't like each other, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think Seth is a little overrated in my eyes.
Why is that?
I feel like his matches are kind of like the same match every match. It's got a little bit of that Ric Flair syndrome going on.
Oh, what, you don't like suicide dive before every commercial break?
That all his moves, they don't hit hard. Like the flying knee off the top rope is such a weak looking move to me.
Yeah, he
he plays it safe a little bit too much.
He's
Not as
got.
safe as someone like The Miz, but
I was
he
gonna ask if
wrestles
he had Miz syndrome, Cleveland Mike.
yeah, not as bad as The Miz, but I don't know. I'm not dogging him totally. He's a great heel. I love Seth Rollins as a heel, not so much as a face. Um, and I think that's why they turned him back heel because the face run wasn't working anymore. The crowd was really starting to turn on him. But I only really got to know Seth Rollins as far as NXT and WWE. I didn't really follow him in Ring of Honor too much.
Yeah. It's funny that you talk about how the fans kind of started turning on Seth in WWE when he finally became the top guy. The same exact thing happened to him in Ring of Honor. He won the belt way later than he should have, and by the time he won it, the crowd was totally sick of him.
Really?
They turned on him. He actually ended up having to turn heel towards the end because the crowds just were reacting to him so poorly that he started to carry himself as a heel. He was so hated as a heel that the heel Roderick Strong had to basically wrestle as a babyface to beat him for the belt. It
Wow,
was
really?
really bad. Yeah.
Who did he beat for the belt?
Austin Aries. He beat
Okay.
Aries his second title reign. He should have beat Nigel McGuinness for it, but they wanted to do their version of Randy the Ram with Jerry Lynn. Then Jerry Lynn should have lost it to Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, and then
Yeah.
lost it to Austin Aries, who, for whatever reason, wasn't trying to be the Austin Aries that everybody liked as far as in ring goes. He tried to reinvent himself as like this weird old school heel. It wasn't working in Ring of Honor.
Who, Austin Aries?
Uh, uh, yeah, as the character that he tried to portray
Yeah.
himself as, it was not really good. He changed his look. He wore like checkered shorts. Let me see if I can
I mean, I
find.
always
Like,
heard Austin Aries was a real prick and really hard to work with.
yeah, he had kind of had that vibe of yeah. See, let's see
I
here.
think he always thought he should have been the guy wherever he was.
Yeah, he always kind of carried himself as someone who should have been like the
And he
super
doesn't eat
super.
meat.
Yeah, and he will be sure to let you know about it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you see how he kind of changed his look up here.
because he used to have kind of the long hair, right?
Yeah, he used to look like that.
Yeah.
And then he had like this weird mustache and started wearing these weird outfits that you see here. This final battle. Jesus, that's 11 years ago. God, look, the Briscoe brothers look like babies. There's Seth. Good
I
lord.
always liked Austin Aries as a wrestler.
Oh, as a wrestler, man,
He's
he's
great.
tremendous. He ticks all the boxes. It just
Yeah.
I
The
guess
real
he's just
life guy is, from what I've heard, has kind of been a little prickish.
yeah. Yeah,
Jim Cornette hates him.
yeah, I'm trying to think of if there's anyone else that doesn't really like him. I know Cornette doesn't really get along with him. I know he had that weird falling out with Impact Wrestling
Yeah.
when he had to drop the title to John Morrison.
But yeah, so as far as Seth, to me, yeah, he's a little bit overrated. Have you been following his heel run as of right now with him teaming up with AOP?
I watched a clip on Monday of his promo. He wears like a weird one glove thing now,
Yeah, it's weird.
which I don't get. That looks very odd. Like just wear two gloves or don't wear one. I don't get it. Unless they're gonna do something with this whole Monday Night Messiah thing where he like touches people, like he's Jesus Christ or something.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm glad AOP is getting some shine.
Yeah, I'm big fans of AOP. I think that they should be back in the tag title mix. Were they ever the tag team champions?
I don't think so. No, not on the main roster.
Let's see here. Authors of Pain. It's also weird that they just go by AOP. They don't go by Authors of Pain, but they like to shorten everything and use acronyms. Wasn't Drake Maverick their manager?
Yeah, for a little bit. They should be renamed Architects of Pain.
They really should be. Or just call Seth the Architect of Pain, but instead they had to call
Yeah.
him the Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling that nickname.
Oh, yep, they were the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Oh, really?
How long were they Raw Tag Team Champions? Now we have to play this game. Oh, apparently the Raw Tag Team titles continue from this same lineage as the Unified Tag titles. That's interesting. They were the Tag Team Champions for 55 days? 49 days. Wait, this thing keeps moving on me. What the hell? 35 days. Wait, they were only the champions for 35 days?
Yeah, that's pathetic.
It's horrible. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode were tag team champions longer than AOP. Hawkins and Ryder were tag team champions longer than the AOP.
Did AOP have to drop him because of an injury, though?
I think one of them did get hurt.
That might have been the case.
Yeah, and then Bobby Roode pinned Drake Maverick to win the titles, and they never really revisited that again. Oh, hey, the Revival won the Raw Tag titles in Grand Rapids.
Wow. Shall we move on to the next participant?
Yes, please.
All right, I'm going to throw a guy at you who PWI just named Wrestler of the Year as far as 2019 goes. A guy who I think is quite possibly the best wrestler maybe on the planet as of right now, Adam Cole. Bay.
Adam Cole.
Young guy still.
Yeah, I think he
Has
just
a
turned
long
30.
career ahead of him.
Yeah.
I see. What do you think about him?
Great wrestler, great talker, charismatic. Despite being a fairly small guy, he still has a good look. He's got a lot of a Shawn Michaels quality to him.
Triple Crown winner in NXT.
Yep, tag champ, NXT champ, North American champion. Only 3-time ROH champion.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've not said anyone's overrated yet, have I?
I don't think so.
Well, I will not bestow that distinction upon Adam Cole. I think he is perfectly rated. I think he's really good at the pro wrestling thing.
Yeah, he is, in-ring ability is tremendous. He's probably had multiple matches in 2019 that I don't know, I think he might have had a couple 5-star matches.
Yeah, let's see how many 5-star matches that Mr. Cole has.
His promo work is tremendous. I mean, he just checks all the boxes for me as far as a professional wrestler goes. And I see really big things with him. If WWE somehow drops the ball with this guy, then I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I guess they don't have any 5-star matches for him on there. But I know he does. He has to have 5-star matches. Because one of his matches with Johnny Cole got 8,000 stars.
Johnny Cole?
Or Johnny Gargano, sorry. Sorry. Just short white dudes from the Midwest. You just, get them mixed up. Does this not have the star ratings? Oh, I have to go over for that, don't I? Can you sort these? Oh, yeah. So the 2 matches with Gargano and Cole got over 5 stars. And then the 6-man ladder match got 5 stars. And then a 6-man tag got 5 stars. In PWG, him and the Bucks against Ospreay, Seidel, and Ricochet.
So my
4
point
5-star
exactly.
matches, which I'm pretty sure he has more 5-star matches than Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan
I don't
somehow
think
still
Daniel
doesn't have.
Bryan doesn't have one.
Yeah, which blows my mind. Meltzer named an award after him, and he doesn't have a 5-star match.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, he does not have a 5-star match. At least since he's been in WWE. That is mind blowing to me. How does he not have a 5-star match?
What match could you think of off the top of your head that would be?
I mean, I would have thought some of his matches with maybe Nigel McGuinness would have been 5 stars.
Yeah.
I really would have thought some of his New Japan matches, or not New Japan, but ROH matches. Let's see, ROH. Let's say that 5 times fast. It looks like one of the Morishima matches got really close. Manhattan Mayhem 2. So yeah. Let's see, anything in 2006? I mean, if we're not finding it yet. Yeah, he always gets really, really close. The match with Kenta came up short. The unification match came up short. There's a couple matches with Joe and Roddy Strong that got close. But yeah, he's never had a 5-star match.
Those are just opinions.
That's very true.
But yeah, as far as Adam Cole goes, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah, he's gonna be a player for a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited to see, where he goes in the next couple of years.
Who's your next?
As I drink this water, the next guy I have is, I didn't want to keep it all current, even though this man has wrestled as of late, but there's always been a lot of talk about this guy, whether he's, good or bad or really bad or really good. Like to get your thoughts on him. Goldberg.
I can find my microphone. There we go. Goldberg, underrated. I guess overrated. Even though I like Goldberg growing up, I still kind of like some of his matches. I thought there was something different. Obviously, he wasn't gonna do a ton of crazy wrestling moves, and I mean, he did a knee bar. Although, if you talk to Matt Riddle about it, it's the shittiest knee bar ever. But I guess overrated in the sense of like he's presented like he had this industry changing like character and personality, but really he's just like really overjacked guy.
He's presented in the timeline of wrestling history as one of the, he's portrayed as one of the best ever.
Yeah,
kind of the notion, and his in-ring ability is kind of, I don't want to say the shits, because he was limited to what he could really do in the ring, and what he could do in the ring was, good for him. I mean, his microphone work, actually not that bad. The promos, he's pretty good at cutting a promo.
Yeah,
he shows a lot of like intensity and stuff.
That promo he cut when he came back because of the video game was probably one of the better promos that anyone in WWE had cut, because it was natural. It fit his personality and character.
Yeah, I mean, he came up at the right time and got the right push, and it all the stars aligned, and it just worked out.
Yeah.
That run in WCW that he had was, shit on him all you want, was one of the greatest runs of all time in professional wrestling.
Yeah, it was a great run. Like I said, I was watching that every week when I was a kid. I was talking to my friends about it at school. That was something that you had to see when Monday night or even Thursday night rolled around, whatever it was. You got to see how Goldberg was going to beat the shit out of someone that night. And, it was fun to watch. And, I loved the Ultimate Warrior when I was a really little kid. I thought he had a cool character, and I found some similarities in them. But like I said, they're not guys that when you think about who's in the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling, you're not really going to talk about Ultimate Warrior or Goldberg. You're
No.
not going to talk about how guys growing up were like influenced by Goldberg to become a professional wrestler. I mean, there might be some guys, like bigger guys out there, that might have been influenced by Goldberg. So I maybe necessarily shouldn't say that, but no one's gonna think of Goldberg as like this ginormous impact on pro wrestling, like a Ric Flair, Randy Savage, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, that kind of influence.
Yeah, I think Goldberg. Yeah, he's underrated or not. He's overrated as far as what everyone, as far as the pinnacle that everyone puts him on as this, amazing superstar of wrestling. As far as his in-ring work and stuff, he's definitely overrated. But I think he is where he should be.
Yeah, I agree. Or no, I don't agree. I said he was overrated. I don't know why I said it. I agree, but I can see why you say he's perfectly rated.
I mean, he did what he could do, and he did it to his best ability, I guess.
William Scott Goldberg. You ever think about how fucking hilarious it is that there is this guy, this gigantic, like, what is he, like 6'5" or something, 6'4", nearly 300-pound dude, and his name was Goldberg.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. One of the most feared dudes in pro wrestling was named Goldberg.
What
He
was
was
his
named after
name
the.
gonna be?
He had another name before that he was gonna be called.
I think they were gonna call him something else. I could be wrong.
They weren't gonna call him Ice Dagger, were they?
Is that what it is?
Yeah, no, that was Stone Cold. He was either
Oh,
gonna be
joke.
Frank
Oh,
McFrost
Frosty.
or
Yeah.
yeah. I don't. Let's see if I can find it. Goldberg original name. I suppose WCW. Was it gonna be like a serious, silly, over the top name?
I could have swore he mentioned it on the recent Austin podcast he did, but I can't remember.
Oh, I'll have to check that out. I haven't had a chance to watch that.
It's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah. But yeah, we can move on to the next guy if you'd like.
Please do.
This guy's been in, the headlines of current wrestling news if about if he's going to return or not, possibly at the Royal Rumble. But I think this would be interesting to get your take on this guy, Edge.
Edge. Man, this is a tough one actually for me because I always found that, like, as far as his style goes, Edge never really had a style, which always kind of bugged me because, like, sometimes because he's tall and at one point was pretty jacked, he would do like big guy moves. He'd do like full Nelson slams and big boots, but then he was always portrayed as like a coward. But he's like 6'4", so it's like, how is a dude that's that big like supposed to be a coward? I don't know.
But
He's
then in the
always very
early
weird.
days, he was kind of portrayed as a high flyer type guy.
Yeah. You know who I said his early face push in the early 2000s before he hurt his neck, who he reminded me of, was Sting. I
Yeah,
felt like they were trying
absolutely.
to push him as their Sting. And then, of course, the neck injury happened. They tried to continue that push, and then the crowd just didn't take to him, and then embarked one of the best heel runs of all time.
Yeah, he was a guy who was always there in that title picture, and it seemed like he was there for a long time.
Yeah, let's see, how many times was Edge the WWE champion and World Heavyweight champion? I guess more synonymous with the big gold belt.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know the exact number, but I think it was a substantial amount.
Yeah, it's over the top. Let's see. World Wrestling Federation / WWE, 7-time World
Yeah.
Heavyweight Champion, 4-time WWE Champion. Wow, man, it's a lot of championships. Like, look at this. Look at these accolades, man. Oh
Yeah,
no.
but he's a weird one. I mean, he
Yeah.
has all those accolades, but then it's like you trying to think of like, okay, let me think of a really good edge match
Without a ladder.
without a ladder, without a partner, just a singles edge match.
Oh, um, ye-
You know what I mean?
oh man.
Like, wow,
Uh,
that edge match was fucking awesome.
damn, dude.
Taker?
Yeah,
WrestleMania?
Taker. Uh,
I forget which
WrestleMania
was it.
24.
24, yeah.
Hell in a Cell. Yeah, SummerSlam. Hell in a Cell.
No, no, we're taking gimmicks out of it.
Oh, no gimmicks or straight up matches.
Gimmicks. Taker at WrestleMania for sure. That's a good match.
Ah, shit, dude. You're making this a lot harder than I anticipated. Yeah, if you take gimmicks and tags out of it, I guess it's just that Taker match is kind of his crowning achievement.
Is that all? Is that all? See,
Yeah,
that's
because I was
sad to
gonna say
say.
him versus Matt Hardy in the cage, but that's a gimmick match.
And we can throw gimmicks into it. Those matches are good.
Yeah, and Foley, WrestleMania 22.
Yeah, great match. He's got good matches. I was just busting your balls.
Yeah, but I mean, you
But that
raised a good
that
point
is
though.
yeah,
It's a
for sure.
legitimate point. I can't really think of any Edge singles matches without any sort of gimmicks that you're like, oh shit, that was a fucking banger.
Yeah, but that's why I asked it because you look, what does he say? It was a 12-time champ,
11 time, yeah.
11-time champ. So I mean, as far as I'm concerned, eh, he's not on. Is he? You could say kind of underrated.
Yeah, you could say underrated.
What would be your final answer?
He is somehow all three.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
If that makes any sort of sense to anybody watching this.
It does. He's just a weird one because he had a great run, but it's just a weird run. It was in an odd period of wrestling as far as WWE goes.
Yeah, yeah, it's very weird. But I mean, like, he was
He
around
was
for so
kind of
long.
the guy.
Was he? Like, does a heel count as the guy?
I guess not.
Oh man, yeah, I
Well,
know.
have you heard the rumor that he might be in the Royal Rumble?
I heard that, and then he
There's
keeps
been
tweeting.
rumors about him and Brock at Mania.
Whoa, 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 whoa. So if we're gonna put a dude that had to retire in nearly a decade ago, who had to get cervical vertebral fusion, which actually I think is the same surgery that Tommaso Ciampa had. And then he had cervical spinal stenosis. He is going to feud with a dude whose entire offense is throwing people on their head and upper back.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's not even possible, but that is the rumors circulating in the wrestling world. What was I gonna say? As far as the Royal Rumble goes, Brock has actually entered it at number one. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
So
It's so what happens if he wins?
I don't know.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't
you
know.
can't just have the champion say, I'm going to enter the Royal Rumble, and then just nothing happens. Is Bray Wyatt going to be in the Royal Rumble then?
I have no clue. I also heard that the concept for that match this year, I think guys and girls, is going to be 10 from Raw, 10 from SmackDown, 10 from NXT.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I like that.
So, I mean, if you're gonna have that set up, I mean, I feel like someone from NXT should win one of the Rumbles then.
I agree. But I don't know how we're doing on time here.
Let's see. We've been at it for a while.
We've
Miss
been
your
keeping these
Kaz.
at about an hour, which has been pretty perfect. Don't really want to.
Yeah, we're about 50 minutes of recording, so I guess we can probably start to wrap it up.
All right. Let me try to find one more.
All right.
Um, I don't want to throw obvious ones out there.
Oh God. Everyone out there is gonna fucking be able to see my personal account. Don't follow me on Instagram. I don't want that.
All right, well, we'll end it with a New Japan guy.
Okay.
Um, Okada.
That's another weird one because
Now we're he's strictly been in Japan.
because his excursion was to TNA.
Oh yeah, we'll throw that out the door. Wait. As far as his New Japan run, you look at the New Japan greats, Tanahashi, um, um, why is Tanahashi the only one coming to my head?
The great. I mean,
Getting the greatest New Japan wrestlers.
um, in the modern era, just all time.
Well, Okada's kind of been portrayed as possibly the best of all time, correct?
Yeah. Most defenses and then most combined days as
Who would you
champion.
put in that realm of New Japan greatness? Tanahashi, of course. Um, Chono?
Chono, Muto, Fujinami, Riki Choshu, Inoki.
Inoki?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, like, what would be your Mount Rushmore of New Japan?
The Mount Rushmore of New Japan for me would probably be Muto, Fujinami. I forgot how many people were on Mount Rushmore for a second. Muto, Fujinami, um, Inoki, and then maybe Hashimoto.
Really, that would be your. Um, so you're keeping Tanahashi off.
I mean, like, I just kind of just threw that out there. But for like personal preference, it would go like, Muta, Hashimoto, Tanahashi, and then possibly like Okada, someone like that. Maybe Liger if you wanted to throw juniors in there.
Yeah, for sure. But what do you think about Okada? His run the past damn near 10 years has been nothing short of amazing.
Yeah, his run has been off the charts. Um, Obviously, when he was the champion for so long, it kind of was lackluster because it made you feel like, Jesus, can anybody beat this guy? And we're not talking like Asuka, Shayna Baszler levels of long. Like, if his reign was almost like twice theirs.
Yeah.
It was a long time. It was 2 years, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could get
Now,
stale. Like, anybody could get stale. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the champion for 2 years straight at his hottest period. That would feel stale. You know?
I've always felt like Okada was a tad bit overrated in my eyes.
Now, why do you say
As
that?
far as in-ring ability, just another guy to me that was a little boring. His moveset was a little boring. I can't really talk on his promo skills because I don't always know what he's saying. You know what I mean?
I was actually reading something the other day that said that obviously people who can speak Japanese or understand it much better than we can said that apparently he was a really bad promo when he first came back from Japan, which is why he had always had a second talking for him.
And his English is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. But to me, like you look at Okada's matches with Omega, which got what, 7 stars?
Yeah, one of them was 7 stars, I
I mean,
believe.
this guy has the highest rated match of all time, correct?
That's correct.
Multiple ones. I look at some of his matches and say, well, he's got all these great matches, but is it because of him that they're great?
I feel like he's got to get some credit for that.
It takes two to tango, I get that.
Yeah, I feel
But
like he's got to get some credit for that. I feel like none, all of his matches aren't carry jobs. Like, are we supposed to think that that's crazy that I was actually scrolling to this picture? But are we supposed to believe that like a 48-year-old Minoru Suzuki was the one that carried Okada to those awesome matches? You know,
yes. I'm joking.
you know, I feel like I can understand why you think he's overrated, but I just think he's too good to really be able to knock his in-ring ability. Now, if you don't like his moveset and stuff like that, it's boring. Yeah, I can understand that because like his main move is like a drop kick. He does like a
Yeah.
drop kick, then he does a tombstone to set up
Clothesline.
a lariat. Yeah, which is kind of weird. But
Um, see, I have only been following New Japan over the past, 7, 8 years, but was Okada pushed like say a Roman Reigns was in WWE?
he won the belt in his, I think, second match back from Excursion.
Now,
Back
why
then,
was that?
I don't know why they pushed him
Like, why
like
was
that.
Okada pushed like that?
I have no clue. I'm not sure if there's anybody out there watching this that's more familiar with New Japan at the start of the decade. I'm not sure. I remember watching one of the matches where he won the title and being like, "Whoa, the kid from TNA won the belt? What the hell? That doesn't make any sense."
Yeah, who'd he beat? Tanahashi?
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Tanahashi, I think, won it back pretty quickly, and then they wanted to establish Okada as like legit, so he won the G1, and
Yeah,
that
I wish I knew the politics behind that Okada push.
yeah, I wish I knew the politics for that as well. And like I said, I don't know enough about the Japanese politics of wrestling to really understand why Okada was their guy.
Do you think Okada would be as big over here now in America as far as in WWE, say? Who would you compare Okada to in WWE?
Who would I compare Okada to in WWE? Randy Orton, as far as like size and just pure technical ability, in the ability to put together a match. I think they're very similar.
Yeah, I could see that definitely.
Yeah, he's a masterful tactician, so to speak. I guess maybe let's see. I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that could really fit that bill. As a guy who's like, it's just really good in the ring, but doesn't really necessarily do a ton. And I can't really think of anybody but Orton.
Yeah, definitely a good comparison. I guess Okada never really quite did it for me. I guess that's just a personal opinion.
No, I understand why you could think he's a little boring. I'm sure there's a ton of people out there that are hardcore New Japan fans. They're just like, fucking hate Okada. I can't stand this guy.
Yeah, and I feel like I've been shitting on all the great ones as of late.
Yeah, but I mean, they're entitled to your opinions, and then you've got logical explanations as to why you don't really like them. I'm sure if I talked about how I thought Andre the Giant was super overrated, people would get upset with me. but it's just like I just don't get it. Like he was big, and I get that was really kind of the attraction back then. It was his
Yeah.
size, but like that was honestly it. He was just big. I don't think he was like that great in the ring.
Oh no, he's
You
too
know,
big.
his talking. I mean, language barrier aside, his talking, his promos are just like incomprehensible, just like blubbering. And of course, like I said, if
He was a sideshow attraction.
yeah, and
Really?
I guess maybe I'm looking at it too much as like a technical wrestling nerd, but I don't know. There's nothing about Andre that ever really stood out to me other than the fact that he was tall. But then there's guys who are as tall as him that can do all kinds of stuff and were awesome promos.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't know. I guess maybe I'm just lacking the context at the time to understand the true importance of Andre the Giant.
Well, even this discussion we've had in this podcast is all opinionated.
Right? Yeah.
Okada might be someone's favorite wrestler, which of course he is to someone, and everything I'm saying is complete dog shit to them. But for me, I don't know. Yes, listen. I'll put it to you like this: one of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life, quite possibly the greatest match I've ever seen in my life, involves Okada. So put that into perspective a little bit. Okada
Right.
Shibata at Sakaru, what is it?
Sakura
Yeah,
Genesis.
where Shibata, pretty his last match to me is one of the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah, that match is amazing, and it's just like
Now,
with
and
Andre the
I'm
Giant, WrestleMania 3 is fucking amazing to watch. Just
yeah.
from watching it from historical context, I'm sure it was probably amazing to watch that in person. And
Oh,
I won't ever take away from that match and its importance and why people love it and why people think it's one of the best matches ever. Blah blah blah. I can give the man his just due or whatever phrase you want to use there. I can see why people do like those guys.
yeah, for sure. But like I said, this conversation is all just our opinions.
That's right.
And opinions are like assholes, right?
That's right, Dave.
By the way, I recently watched some clips of Hogan versus Muda in Japan.
Yeah, from the early 90s.
That shit's hilarious.
Yeah.
Watching
It,
Hogan work, the match looked pretty hype. I need to just like sit down and watch it.
yeah, when he calls the WWF title a toy belt. It says it's bullshit. He wants
I
to
mean,
wrestle for real.
we've had this conversation before, but I recently seen someone posted it on Twitter, like a little clip edited version of the match, and it looks hype, but it's just such an odd sight to see Hogan like perform actual technical moves.
Yeah, it's weird. Like watching Hogan work has always been so weird.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Good convo.
Yes, sir. It's a good one. Oh, I found this one. Naito vs Omega was 6 stars. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching / listening. Be sure to check us out on social media. I think we're TA Wrestling Fan across the board. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes. Basically, the thing that you hear on every podcast to close out the show. Just do that for us, please. We will much, much appreciate it. So, anything in closing, Kaz?
Um, no, other than again, what we've been doing the past couple episodes is kind of new to us. Not probably not new to a lot of people who do podcasts, but I like what we're doing, and hopefully everyone enjoys what we're doing. And hey, if you see us promoting it on Facebook or Twitter and you're into wrestling, give it a listen. Let us know what you think, positive or negative. We'd like to hear your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that being said, thank you for watching and listening to the Axel
That
Wrestling
picture
Fan.
is great.
Yeah, that's so a lot of these on this account are some of me bored at my last job, some of my finest Photoshop work.
Oh God.
I actually did not Photoshop that though. I apologize if anyone's personal personal accounts are up on the screen. I don't even know why I'm even logged into this. I've never logged into Instagram on this computer. Like
Got
I
some
don't even understand how
lights.
that happened. Yeah. That's so weird. I've never logged in on Instagram. Oh, you know what it is?
Big brother.
No, it's Facebook. Facebook
Oh,
owns Instagram and my accounts are all linked. So that's
ah,
why. But yeah, I guess if you find me on there, I guess you can follow me. But I'll be honest, my account's private and I might not approve your request. So try as you might. All right, guys, enjoy. Tuck your chin.